So, in your studies of dreams, is there one almost like a universal dream that we all have over and over again that plagues everybody?
They've done research, and there's several dream themes that come back all around the world.
Okay, what are they? I'm so curious about this.
Is one is flying.
What about you? Do you have that flying dream too?
Yeah, flying dreams happens in different categories. I flap a little bit with my
You do
hands.
flap a little bit. Okay. I'm curious. I would love people to put in their comments what their number one most recurring dream is. And also if they have something that is like a flying, like how are they flying? I want to know this because I'm just so this is so fascinating. And I love that we all share this and that there are common dreams that we all have, not just in one nationality, but across
Yeah.
nationalities. Dreams, lucid dreams, nightmares, prolific dreams, and dream incubation. We all dream, even if we don't remember them. My guest today, Machiel Klerk, who is a proficient dream analyst, and he is also a licensed mental health therapist. And today we are going to discuss the ways that you could harness your dreams to actually impact your waking reality. So, Machiel, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Laurie.
Well, I'm so excited because when I saw that you were coming up on my calendar and we were going to get to talk about dreams, I want to share with you that when I was in eighth grade, we were asked to do a thesis and we were supposed to do research on a topic and then prove whether it was real or not. And I chose lucid dreaming.
Oh, how
I was only
interesting.
13,
Yeah.
but I chose lucid dreaming, and what I learned was that it was very, very real. So I've been aware of this technique for a very long time, and it's caused me to be very fascinated. I have on many occasions recorded my dreams, and I even one time back in 2013 had a dream that I was given information that I should not have known, and I had to verify with somebody outside of myself. So I am so excited to talk to you today
Hmm.
because this is a real fascination for me.
Yes, great. And lucid dreams can be such a help in life. And for those who don't know, a lucid dream is a dream in which you know that you are dreaming, and then you become aware in the dream world, because a dream is a world that you really notice when you become aware of it. That, oh my gosh, I'm in a dream, and everything looks so real. And then it opens up for all kinds of experiments. But it also makes me really wonder what was your experience with lucid dreaming? What did you do in eighth grade, or yeah, how
So
was it?
even though I'm very consciously aware of lucid dreaming, and I have even asked sometimes to for my dreams or to wake up in them, I never have been able to break that barrier where I have been able to become conscious in my dreams and then manipulate them because I knew that I was dreaming. I have been able to understand I'm dreaming and wake myself up, but that's as close as I've gotten to a lucid dream.
Yeah, that is light lucidity. That if you then move the other direction by staying in the dream and stabilizing the dream, and then you can do experiments. And but you touch upon a couple of really important elements. One is that the dream is real, and very often it's thought dream is unreal and this reality is real reality. Yet our experience is, when we're in the dream, that we're in a real reality, and we it's so real that we don't even think about that our body is actually asleep in bed. We believe the reality of the dream world, and then we act out and do things, and then we wake up in this reality, and then we believe the reality of this world. And so we actually cycle through being in realities that we believe to be real, and the reality we're in, we take as the prime reality. So that's how real it is from the experience.
So why do you think we dream? Does anybody even know what the purpose of dreaming is?
Well, there's a couple of scientific, neuroscientific responses to that. One is we need sleep, and sleep happens, dreaming happens in sleep, and it helps to digest the emotions. It helps with memory formation. It helps. It's almost like we visit the internal therapist at night. That helps us move through edgy experiences because we experience certain painful elements again in the dream, but in a different situation by which we can access it and let it flow through us. Um, so those are the memory formation, the working through dreams are two big elements that we know that happens during dreaming. But it's of course hard to say that we dream to do that, but we know it's happening during dreaming.
So how in the world did you become fascinated with dreams to the point where you have now become a proficient dream analyst and you work with people and you've written about this?
Yes. Well, it is really from my own experience. In my early 20s, I was stuck in my life. It's a very old technique in which people, before they go to sleep, ask their dream for help. So they would say, Dream, I've been struggling today at work. Please help me with the solution of this problem. Or Dream, uh, what is one type of food that is healthy for me to eat? Or what is recently someone asked, what's my biggest obstacle in my dating life? And so, what you referred to earlier is that dreams sometimes come to us spontaneously with help, like the dream you ask someone to verify. And so dreams seem to help us from time to time. The song Yesterday from the Beatles was revealed to Paul McCartney in a dream, and he heard the song, the music, and was like, "Do I know this?" And he asked his dad, who was a jazz musician, "Do we know this from somewhere?" And this was just a revelation of a piece of art that came to Paul McCartney. And the largest oil field in Kuwait was found by someone who had a dream on where to drill. And Stephen King uses probably his nightmares for parts of his books. So dreams come with support from time to time, but we don't have to wait for the dream spontaneously to come to us. We can also go to the dream and say, "Hey, dream, I'm actually a bit stuck here. It would be a great moment if you could step forward and help me with," and then whatever is relevant to you, because dreams love to help us with things that are emotionally relevant or medical issues.
So will you share with us either a dream that somebody had or one that you had where you asked for help for something and what the outcome was, what they were shown in that dream?
Yeah, I over the weekend I was with a group where we did this dream incubation one night, and then we came back the next day. And one participant who was interested but never really paid attention to her dreams had two questions. One was her father had died, and she wanted to know, where is he and is he doing well? And the second question was, she said, I have high blood pressure, and what can I do about it? So she decided to ask the first question, where is dad? And then in the dream, she meets a very tall character that says to her, uh, the first question is not the right question. It's not the right time. However, here are suggestions for your second question. And then she dreamt that she had huge pressure on her shoulder. And then the dream shifted to that she felt her heart was very heavy and almost falling out. And that was the dream. And so she had a really remarkable encounter with this kind of a guide that said, not this, but here. And then uh, I think more metaphorically, the pressure that she experienced on her shoulder and the heavy heart contributed to the high blood pressure. So then she can figure out, how do I deal better with the pressure that I have? And she said, oh yes, I feel so responsible for everyone in my surrounding, and I carry that heavy load. And so a journey on dealing with that will, according to this dream figure, relieve her also from the high blood pressure.
Well, that's an amazing example of harnessing the power of your dreams to help you in your waking state.
Yes, and dreams are the light in helping us, and there's many ways we can relate with the dream. Yet there is a benign force within us, and some people contacted it through prayer or intuition or meditation or just being in the flow. Uh, but in dreams, we also can connect with the kind, great friend, like Rumi would call it, and and that one is interested in helping and guiding. But it is really interested in helping and guiding us on our own path. So if the questions become too theoretical or too abstract or not relevant to our journey, it seems not to be responding. But it's more like we meet the old wise woman, like in the fairy tales, and we can ask her, how can we go further on our journey? And then she will give us some suggestions.
So, speaking of suggestions, one of the things that I like to do on this channel is that I like to give the people that are listening some type of practical advice, a golden nugget of information that they didn't have before from the person that I'm speaking with. And so, what would you tell the people who are listening right now who want to connect with their dreams, but they know that they're really not remembering them very well?
Interest is the main driver for dream recall. So if people say, "Gosh, I've been listening to Laurie and Machiel today, and no, I don't know if dreams are helpful, but I'm interested in checking it out." Just get a piece of paper and a pen, put it next to your bed, and tell the dream. I've been listening to this radio show or podcast, and I would like to reconnect. It's been a long time since we were in touch. And I promise, if I wake up tomorrow morning, I will write down whatever has come up. And then, if they do it most of the time, they have immediately that night, but within 2, 3 days, dreaming gets back. And if you
Hmm.
imagine that you will visit this old wise woman that can help you, you can throughout the day talk to her and say, "Oh, I look forward to sleeping tonight and see what adventure we have." And that triggers dream recall, and that will work. And then they can play that way, and we can also look at some simple techniques for people to even ask their dream a question that might be beneficial too when they have a tool. Uh,
So writing them down, is it important that you write them down immediately? Because I feel like there was a saying a long time ago that if you don't write your dream down, you remember 80% of your dream in the first 2 minutes of waking, and then 20% of your dream within the 20 minutes of waking. So it's like that, it's gone. And how many times have you had a conversation with somebody where you said, I know I had this dream, it's on the tip of my I can't remember what it was, but it was a really good dream, and you just can't quite get it. So is there a practice that goes along with this that's helpful that you've found?
First of all, what you say, totally accurate. And at night, our short-term memory uh, goes offline. So the strange thing is, we have hours of experience in the dream world that we just don't remember. But our mind is awake during sleep. So our body goes to sleep, but our mind is awake. And that mind is awake and walks in the streets of Rio de Janeiro and sees the Copacabana, thinks, "Oh, I want to lay on the beach." That is all because your mind is actually awake. And when you become lucid, you become aware that you're in that dream state. And but the short-term memory doesn't work. So you wake up and you just remember a little bit of the dream at the end. Then you have to write it down, preferably immediately or within minutes, because the short-term memory doesn't get back. So it's not to do with willpower or intelligence. Write it down. Sometimes it helps. Repeat it 2 or 3 times if you are a little lazy the first couple of minutes. You repeat the dream 2 or 3 times because then it gets densified in your brain. You can speak it into your phone. You just have to make sure that it gets from the phone also somewhere else, that doesn't remain captured as a voice message. So those 2 things are very important. And without that dream, no one remembers their dreams an hour. Most dreams are gone within no time.
Well, let's talk a little bit about reoccurring dreams, because I know there are a lot of people who are plagued with one specific dream over and over again. And I think the comment that people always make is that I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
They've tried to interpret it and they don't know what it means. So for people that have reoccurring dreams, are there things that they can do to unlock the connection of what that's supposed to be in a meaningful way for them?
Yeah. So reoccurring dreams are really important dreams. It's reoccurring because something in us hasn't picked up on the next step. So it is just looping. Something in us is just back in the same old loop, and the psyche just tells us, "Hey, this experience is we're having over and over, and you haven't found the way through out of it." So it would be great if people that have a recurring dream just start with writing it down. Even that seems to help. And then you can ask the question, instead of what does it mean, what is the experience? Oh, I'm running through the class, through the building of the school to my classroom. I have a test and I feel unprepared. I didn't study. Common dream theme. And then it's what is the experience? Is, oh, I feel I'm being tested. I feel I'm not prepared. Uh, if, and that is the experience. And almost always during the day, they had that experience, that they felt they needed to deliver something at work, and that they were being tested, judged. There were expectations, and they didn't feel up to the task. It doesn't mean they weren't up to the task. It's just their internal feeling. And so it will be even already helpful for them first to know, hey, this is what I experienced during the day. Then know how that feels. Oh, I feel like I'm starting to run. My mind start racing. I feel like I'm being tested. I start feeling insecure, that I'm good enough. And only when we know what we have, what we experience, we can change it. Then we can figure out, how can I better relate to the situation of feeling tested and insecure. And there are different ways that people then could do that. But you first need to know that's where you are, because otherwise your mind start racing, you feel horrible, inadequate, and you underperform, and then somehow you fulfill your own fear. And then the next time you feel like you're being tested, you might look back to that same old pattern that is there. And so summarizing, if you have a recurring dream, super important, write it down, ask yourself, what is the experience? See if you have that experience throughout the day, and then you can start recognizing it throughout the day and figure out different ways to relate to it. And even there, dreams could help you. Because if you write it down and say, oh gosh, now I know that I feel tested and insecure, you could ask the dream, how can I better relate to this? And then the next dream will show a scene that gives some medicine for our wound.
So in Listening to what you said, I'm thinking of a recurring dream that I've had on and off for probably 30 years or so. Do I have to wait until I have that dream again to start this process? Or do I just begin with writing it down from the memories of the way that it occurs over and over again, and then ask the question and then let it just come in? Because it may not come in right now because I might not be having a situation that triggers it. There's because it's
Right.
tied to something, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a great point that you make. Usually with these recurring dreams, we can go back to that dream. So what you then would want to do is go in a little bit of a meditative state. Just slow down, do some deep breathing, feel into your body. You could do that in 1 minute, and then go back to the dream, and then you notice, oh yeah, I'm back. Oh, I'm running through the the hallway, and then just write it out as if you're dreaming the dream right there in the present tense, and then you get uh, both the structure and the feelings and the thoughts that you have, and then that will give a lot of insight in what the experience is, and then you're way better. You start better being better equipped for the next time something in the outer world triggers this inner uh, dynamic. And I don't know, is it one of the dream you have which you want to share? Is it one of those
I can
classic?
share it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay. It started when I was in college and I would waitress, and I had a boyfriend at the time, and we were long distance, and I would get a break and I would get to call him. And back in the day when you had these calling cards, call the 800 number, you put somebody's phone number in, and then you had like a 16-digit number that you had to enter in. So my dream is along the lines of I'm trying to use the phone and it keeps getting messed up. Sometimes it's the old rotary phone where you mess it up and you have to start all over again. Sometimes it's the push button, but no matter what happens, I start over and over again and I can never get the number in to make the call I need to make. That's what happens. It's recurred in those types of ways. And it's not always using the calling card. Sometimes it's just I'm making a phone call and I can't make it. And in the dream, I guess maybe this is the lucid part. There's a part of me that goes, wait a minute, you make hundreds of phone calls. You never have a problem when you're making, hardly ever do you miss dial and have a problem, because we don't have those kind of
Mm-hmm.
situations anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The whole number comes in, you push one button. But back in the day, you didn't. You had to be very precise with your digits. But that's the dream.
Great. And if you would, already talked about the structure and some of the feelings. If you would say what is happening in the dream, what in slightly other words, what would you say?
I
What is
feel
your
like it's
experience?
always the need to make a phone call and there's an urgency behind it and I can't complete the task.
And what is the experience emotionally?
Frustration and overwhelming, like this urgency, almost like a panic,
Yeah,
which I don't really have. Like I don't have anxiety or anything like that in my normal life, but it's almost like that anxiety feeling that it doesn't translate into real life for me.
yeah. So somehow you're reaching out, you're trying to connect with someone that's important to you, and the way to connect is just not working, and you cannot connect, you cannot make contact, and then you become anxious, frustrated. So then,
Exactly.
so
You got
then
it.
you told me, and then you can look in your day-to-day life. When do I have this experience? Because somehow there will be these moments. Hey, this is an important. I want to. It's important for me to connect, and I just and it doesn't work, and I feel, and this starts happening. And once you know that this is happening, then you can also find different ways of being with it, because in this moment you loop, and so you only try harder and get more frustrated, and so it's it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I love that. That's I'm so in your studies of dreams, is there one almost like a universal dream that we all have over and over again that plagues everybody?
They've done research, and there's several dream themes that come back all around the world.
Okay, what are they? I'm so curious about this.
Is one is flying, the other is a falling dream. There's driving a car, and then there's something wrong. They're in the passenger seat or on the back seat, and or they cannot reach the wheel, or they slam the brakes and the car is not stopping. So any variation on that theme. Uh, Another one is being underdressed or naked in public. So someone gets into the bus and then figures out, oh my gosh, how did this happen? And that just usually has to do with a person feeling vulnerable or exposed
Being exposed. Yep.
in
Yep.
public. Um, the teeth falling, or falling out, or some variation of it crumbling, and being, of course, horribly upset, and that's another one. So those are at least five, six of the major themes. And another one is I suffer from that one from time to time, is being locked up, being stuck in jail, or yeah. So I've been sentenced to jail for shorter and longer periods of time, where I feel like horribly stuck, and I come to see in my life I feel stuck somehow, and it becomes exaggerated, like I get 15 years in a jail in Panama or so, and
Wow. I'm glad I don't have that one, but I do have the flying one.
yeah,
Ever since I was a little kid, and I've talked to other people about this because it's fascinating to me that everybody's ability to fly in their dreams is completely different with how they do it. So
yes,
for me, I'm running really, really fast and then I'm flying, but my flying is vertical flying. It's never a horizontal flying, but talk to a lot of people that horizontal fly. Yeah. And it's almost like a running fly. It's not like a
hmm,
wings fly, it's like a running
uh-huh.
fly, and I can get like just above tree level, and that's about it. What about you? Do you have that flying dream too?
Yeah, flying dreams happens in different categories. I flap a little bit with my
You
hands.
do flap a little bit. Okay. I'm curious. People in the I would love people to put in their comments what their number one most recurring dream is. And also if they have something that is like a flying, like how are they flying? I want to know this because I'm just so this is so fascinating. And I love that we all share this and that there are common dreams that we all have, not just in one nationality, but across
Yeah,
nationalities.
yeah, yeah. We're confronted with similar challenges in our life, no matter which culture, color, race. On the deepest level, we're really very similar or the same.
So I said in the beginning when I was introducing you that one of the things that you would teach us is how to harness the information from your dreams to utilize it in your waking state. So can you give us an example of a story of somebody you worked with that had some type of a dream that they wanted to work with, that they were able to harness, and then it impacted and helped them somehow in their waking life?
Yeah, there's many ways, but here is one. Um, it was a man who needed to confront his boss at work, and felt his boss was just really an aggressive a person. And so in the dream, he's walking on the street, and then he sees a crocodile, and the crocodile opens its mouth, and he gets scared and runs. So that's the dream. So the classic question would be, what does it mean? And but if people shift a little bit, because then you start looking up crocodile, and you get pretty far. But if you would again ask, what is happening, and or what is the experience? The experience is he's walking along, he's moving through life, and he sees a very dangerous, aggressive animal, that turns towards him, and then he gets scared and runs. So then the question is, do you recognize this pattern in your life? And he's like, oh yeah, I recognize that. I have that. That's my experience of wanting to confront my boss. So it also gives immediately the sense of, oh, confronting your boss is really scary. It's not like come, just do it. It's like meeting a crocodile. That's the experience for him. And dreams do display very often our habitual pattern. So we walk, we see something that's scary, run. But the other elements in the dream are also possessing a state of consciousness or our embodied intelligence. So the crocodile has its own state of consciousness, and that is that assertive, aggressive, fierce consciousness that the dreamer doesn't have. And so by relating to crocodile and just say, okay, let's stay 10 feet away from crocodile, look at crocodile, and bring crocodile into the room. Oh, is crocodile here? Yes, it's there. And then can you feel, can you sense of the crocodile? Oh yeah, the crocodile feels really strong in its body and it feels really assertive. Okay. Feel that in your body so they can have that embodied state. And they can, and then it is like, do you want to bring crocodile with you into the meeting with boss? You know, and that's a fun imaginal play. And he was like, yeah, I can do that. So then he goes with a bit of a different state of consciousness and crocodile into that meeting, and he feels different. He feels like he has a teammate. He feels already a little bit, and so then he reports, it went better than I expected. Not there where I wanted to be, but better. And so that is a way how, on a very practical level, dreams every day bring states of consciousness and information to us that is helpful for us to embody in our lives. And so the dream is it displays this most of the dreams display a habitual pattern, and you can just look at who else shows up in dream and how can I bring this into my life. And that doesn't require Googling. You just bring in a wild crocodile or, whatever dream states you have. And you will notice, oh, these are states of consciousness that break. It's almost like we're an alchemical vessel. We have a different fluid. We put in another fluid. Our state changes. So that's an example. And we can talk many others, but that's maybe also something people at home can emulate without
Yeah, that's really helpful. I love it. So you have appropriately named a book that you wrote Dream Guidance. So will you tell us a little bit about your book?
It's based on this old technique that we can ask the great friend, the larger awareness, God, the brain, soul, whatever we want to call this mystery that is present. And we can ask it for support. And I laid out there are these 5 steps that people can go through, and we can talk about that to get support for anything that is relevant to their emotional life or their what Jung would call individuation, the process of personal development, and dreams love to be engaged and are on standby to help us, and we can petition that through those 5 steps.
Okay, excellent. And Michael, if anybody wants to work with you, how do they find you?
If they probably need to go to your show notes or figure out how you spell my name, because my name is machielklerk.com. That's my website, and they can just email me or text me, and then they can get in touch. And sometimes people come to work on one dream. Most of the time, it's better to work on a series. So I have what I call a brief depth. It's a brief series in which we go in depth in one of the dreams or longer. And I'm also a regular psychotherapist that works from a depth psychological Jungian perspective with people on helping them either climb out of the pit or navigate better through life or be connected to a creative process. And so that is one. And I also started a company out of a dream called the Jung Platform, JUNG Platform. We got tons of online courses on Jungian psychology, African shamanism, tarot, and with great teachers. And people can, and we have some free programs there, so people can take a look and see if anything is a fit for them.
Wonderful. Well, that's amazing. I want to thank you so much for the work that you're doing, first of all, in the mental health space. My daughter got her master's degree in mental health counseling. She works at a crisis house in San Diego. And I hear the stories of the people that she's helping, and she feels like it's so meaningful. And not a lot of people take this path. So thank you for what you're doing in that area, first of all. But more, thank you so much for what you're doing to help wake up the collective consciousness. We all dream. There are probably a lot of people out there who have now received some real practical tips that they can put into use that are going to impact their lives. And I just greatly appreciate the work that you're doing. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your enthusiasm and engagement. And I can feel a real connection to the dream world or the other world. So it's a joy to muse with you around this topic.
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Next up, check out this playlist of other NDE interviews. Please like and subscribe. It really helps this channel to grow so I can bring you more content. Thank you for watching. I'm so glad you're here.